Do you ever feel like a hamster running on a wheel? You toil day and night, dedicating your entire youth, but when you look back, if the answer is yes, don't be sad. You are not alone. Even the richest, wisest man in history, King Solomon, once stood at the pinnacle of his career, looked down at his achievements, and let out the most weary sigh of all time. Solomon called all that toiling, accumulating, and fame Hebel, meaning a vapor, a vanity. He didn't say work is worthless. He said we have wrong expectations of it. We expect work to give us an identity, an eternal happiness, and that is the trap that leaves us exhausted yet empty. I want to tell you the story of the billionaire's dinner and the shoemaker's laughter. Alexander has everything to enjoy, but he lacks the capacity to enjoy it. For him, this lavish dinner isn't a gift. It's just a forced break between two financial wars. Solomon calls this a tragedy, to have wealth but no soul to taste it. A few streets away in a small alley, Silas the shoemaker has just finished the last pair of shoes of the day. His hands are calloused, covered in leather dust and glue. Silas's income is just enough to cover life and leave a little extra to buy a loaf of hot bread and some cheese for the evening. Silas has no empire, but he has the gift of presence. He knows that the shoes he makes are a great play he has performed with all his heart, and tonight's bread is the perfect reward. Silas doesn't chase the wind. He enjoys the breeze blowing through his own window. You see, the difference between Alexander and Silas doesn't lie in the amount of money they have, but in the position of work in their lives. For Alexander, work is the master. He is a slave serving it in exchange for emptiness. For Silas, work is a gift. He is an artist enjoying it in exchange for peace. Solomon was right when he said, "Better is a handful of quietness than 2 hands full of toil and a striving after wind." Ecclesiastes 4:6. So, how do we survive in this workaholic era without being swallowed whole? Solomon, in the Book of Ecclesiastes, left a 2-part code. View work as a great play that you must perform with all your heart. View the results as a gift to be enjoyed, not a title to be worshipped. In today's 20-minute video, we won't just discuss philosophy. We will dissect Solomon's sigh together to see that the mindset of knowing how to enjoy is a gift, regardless of how much money you have in your account. Let's learn together how to know enough to live instead of just living to toil. Welcome to the channel. We are starting right now. First, we will explore why King Solomon viewed work as a great play. Perform with your all, but don't be swallowed by it. Imagine your life as a giant theater, and every job you do, from waiter to engineer to director, is just a role on that stage. King Solomon, in his reflections, saw through this essence. He used the word Hebel to describe all human efforts. Hebel actually means a vapor or a breath. Imagine standing in the freezing winter and exhaling. Do you see that vapor? Yes, it's real. Do you feel it? Yes, it's warm. But can you hold it in the palm of your hand? Absolutely not. It vanishes the moment you touch it. This is Solomon's explosive philosophy. Work, money, fame, they are not fake. They are real. They bring emotions. They have value in that moment. But our mistake is trying to build an eternal meaning on something that is essentially just a vapor. We want work to be an eternal anchor, while its nature is shift and dissolution. A play, no matter how good, vanishes like a vapor when the velvet curtain closes. Solomon did not advise us to work half-heartedly. On the contrary, he emphasized, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might. Why? Because if you are already an actor, the only way to respect life is to play the part well. If you are a carpenter, make the best chairs. If you are a coder, write the cleanest code. not to get promoted, but so your soul can be satisfied in your own excellence. Our fatal mistake is forgetting to take off the makeup. We identify ourselves with the role. When fired, we feel worthless. When a project fails, we feel our life collapsing. Solomon reminds us, the fruits of labor may fall into the hands of others, and death is the final curtain for everyone. If you consider the role as your only identity, you will panic when the play ends. Solomon's secret is, play your role as brilliantly as possible, but never forget you are just the actor. When you work with the mindset of a professional actor, you will have the dedication of an expert, but retain the serenity of a philosopher. You are no longer swallowed by the pressure of success or failure, because you know your true value lies in the artist within, not in the costume you are wearing. Labor's fruit is the result of the play. However, many people misunderstand this fruit. We will explore whether enjoying the fruits of labor is a privilege of the rich or a choice for the many. We often tell ourselves, when I have enough money, I will start enjoying life. But Solomon, the man who owned the greatest treasure in history, pointed out a bitter paradox. There are people who are filthy rich but cannot eat or sleep in peace. He noted in Ecclesiastes 6:1-2 that someone may be given everything, but God does not give him the power to enjoy them. Why? Because the capacity to enjoy does not lie in the account balance, but in the state of the soul. Solomon saw the trap of more. If you view happiness as a destination after reaching a certain financial number, you will fall into an infinite loop. He called it chasing the wind. The wind can never be caught, and greed is never satisfied. If you cannot be happy with a decent cup of tea right now, then even if you owned an entire tea plantation, you would only worry about market prices. The most important key Solomon left behind lies in Ecclesiastes 2:24. There is nothing better for a person than that he should eat and drink and find enjoyment in his toil. Notice the phrase, find enjoyment in his toil. Solomon viewed this as a gift, not a result of wealth. This means enjoyment is possible for everyone, from the laborer to the chairman, as long as they know how to stop and recognize their achievements as a worthy reward for their labor. I want to tell you about the practical lessons that King Solomon wants us to implement, escaping the chasing the wind loop. After hearing Solomon complain about vanity, you might ask, so how should I live? Quit my job? No, Solomon doesn't advise us to quit. He advises us to change our perspective. Instead of trying to grasp the wind, eternal success, learn to feel that wind blowing across your skin. It is a shift from a possessive mindset to an experiential mindset. Practical lesson. 1. Redefine your self-worth. If you lost your job tomorrow, who are you? Solomon reminds us that work is a beautiful part of life, but it cannot bear the weight of your entire life's meaning. Don't place your soul's anchor in something temporary, Hebel. Place it in more eternal values, kindness, relationships, and inner peace. Practical lesson 2. Learn to stop and celebrate small wins. Don't wait for a promotion to pop the champagne. Enjoy your toil right after a tiring workday with a good night's sleep or a cozy meal. Solomon said, "There is nothing better. This isn't consolation for the failed, but the ultimate wisdom of one who had everything yet realized true value lies in being present in the moment." To conclude today's script, remember King Solomon's words, "Work is a great play. Perform it with all your enthusiasm and professionalism. But when the curtain falls, be a free person, knowing how to receive life as a gift. Life's meaning is greater than work, but work becomes beautiful if you put it in its right place. Stop chasing the wind. Start living from today." We live in an age where vanity, Hebel, is disguised by shimmering social media filters. Solomon would surely smile and say, that too is just chasing the wind. Comparison is the enemy of enjoyment. If you keep looking at someone else's play, you will forget how to play your own role well and lose the gift that God has placed right on your dinner table. Solomon ends the Book of Ecclesiastes with practical advice. Fear God and keep His commandments. Translated into modern language, it's advice to find a soul anchor. Jobs can be lost, money can vanish, but values of morality, kindness, and faith are the only things that are not Hebel. When you have an anchor deep enough, you can work your hardest without fearing being knocked down by market storms or social pressure. The final lesson Solomon wants us to take to heart. Happiness is not a destination. It is a capacity. The capacity to stop, the capacity to be grateful, the capacity to realize that I am working to serve life, not sacrificing life for work. Don't wait until everything is perfect to start enjoying. Enjoy your toil, right in the middle of the unfinished, because this life is inherently a series of beautiful, unfinished things. I hope this video has helped you find a moment to breathe a sigh of relief amidst the hustle. Work is a great play. Perform it excellently. But tonight, when you walk home, take off the crown, remove the costume, and enjoy the gift of presence. Thank you for joining me in the philosophy of King Solomon. If you found this video meaningful, please hit like and share it with fellow travelers who are struggling out there. Goodbye, and see you again.